Where do things stand with the Strait of Hormuz? This may be the most talked about waterway in the world today since it's become a strategic choke point as a result of the US-Israel-Iran war. Currently, the fate of maritime transit through this critical strait is in limbo, and it's become a key focal point in ceasefire negotiations between the White House and Tehran. Although it's impossible to predict exactly what will happen with the strait, let's look at the range of feasible options. 1. There's a deal reached between the US and Iran for full reopening of the strait. In other words, to secure a complete cessation of hostilities, Tehran agrees that the strait will return to pre-war conditions. 2. There's a deal that provides for gradual reopening of the strait. Here, the White House and Tehran would employ a reciprocal, step-by-step relaxation of the US naval blockade against Iran as transit through the strait resumes. And 3. There is no deal, and individual companies and governments will need to engage Tehran separately to guarantee safe passage for their vessels. The White House is discouraging this separate engagement because it undermines its position at the negotiating table, but countries will feel increasingly compelled to exercise this option the longer the strait remains impeded for transit. Whatever the outcome of negotiations, there will be 4 issues to contend with. The first is demining. It is necessary to locate and remove any mines that Iranian forces have emplaced. The White House is pushing for Iran to do this as part of a peace deal, but it may require third parties to support the demining effort. The second is post-war monitoring. While many countries have avoided getting entangled in the present conflict, they've already discussed a coalition to ensure that once the strait reopens, it remains open. Third is Iran's desire to impose some form of tolling system. Tehran is seeking war reparations, and since neither the United States nor Israel are interested in paying them, Iran aims to secure funding through a new system. Under international laws and rules related to maritime transit, they cannot simply start tolling vessels for passing through a strait without facing prolonged international rebuke. So, Tehran will likely claim that these are service fees for passing through their territorial waters. They'll call it things like navigational aids, coordination support, and environmental management. And finally, there are insurance prices. All these ships transiting through the strait are insured by somebody, and insurance companies generally don't like paying compensation, so they either don't insure vessels that carry too much risk, or they jack up prices substantially. Insurance companies will be making adjustments based on the outcomes of ongoing negotiations and whatever third-party guarantees are secured for the post-war environment. So, for those curious about what to make of the situation in the Strait of Hormuz, keep these 3 potential outcomes and 4 outstanding issues in mind. Thank you for joining us for this Parley Policy FIRE. See you again soon.